Good morning, and this is Simon from Simon on the Sofa reporting for Everyday Connections. Saying hello to you all out there, wherever you're listening to today. Big hello to Nikki and Rick, as always. And today I am with a very, very good friend of mine. Some of you, if you've been following Simon on the Sofa, may have seen some of the conversations that myself and Rasheed, hey Rasheed.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Have already created. So here we are. Beautiful thing about Rasheed is that he's like me. We just show up, we have a conversation, and I've been hanging with him for the last few hours, and here we are. I said, let's do a everyday connection conversation.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I thought for a minute you were going to give me this really great introduction. You just said my name, so it's kind of cool. It's nice. It's gone the other way, isn't it? So people can imagine me however they want to imagine me. This person, but it's a pleasant enough name.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So this person,
but it's interesting.
Rasheed,
yeah, but it's great. It's great, isn't it? Because I'm always about like allowing people to just listen to somebody as well, you know, without giving them a big introduction, because you know we're all just magnificent beings, and everybody listening is just as magnificent as you and me, and I love it when, if they like what we say, you know, they can go, who is this guy, or who is this person speaking, and then it's their own desire to follow that intrigue rather than us painting a big picture of like, you know, who's great, who's
who
not
they
good.
are, and what they've done, and what they may have made.
Because obviously you're just nobody, right?
Or what their biography says.
What their biography says.
Yeah.
So I know we're in this place. Keep your microphone there. So, what do you want to talk about? One of the things that's popping up for me is, I suppose, your beautiful way of describing that we're either flowing with life or fighting with life. But what do you call that?
Yeah, well, I love that, because I think that it just struck me a couple of years ago that, you know, that there's only this quote came to, there's only two choices in life: fight it or, you know, embrace it. If you fight, you're going to lose. If you embrace it, you become one with it and you're lived. And it just strikes me that sums up the whole experience, isn't it? It sums up the people who are seemingly happy and content, they're embracing life, and the people who are seemingly unhappy and so on because they're fighting life or fighting themselves, same thing. And the people who seem to be so-called wise because they flow with life, they look at life, they understand life, or the people who are so-called foolish because they're negating life, they're not accepting life. So it just struck me that that's the only choice once we become aware of it. Are we fighting it, or are we embracing it? And there's a beautiful opportunity just to embrace it. And even the fighting it sometimes can lead us to a place where we embrace it and appreciate it kind of more. But I think it's really important to look at, are you fighting yourself? Are you fighting life itself?
Yeah. Are you fighting yourself or embracing yourself? And, you know, and that can be linked to, are you grateful for life? We spoke about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Are you grateful for life, or are you ungrateful for life, you know?
That's right, because what can happen a lot of the time, isn't it? That wherever it is that we are in life, sometimes what will happen is we're in a particular point and we're not happy, or we've had some difficulties and so on. And what can happen is either that we're blaming ourselves and that we feel that we're not good enough, or, you know, it's our own fault, or we should have done this, or maybe we should have done that, and we're not kind enough to ourselves. So we're fighting ourselves, which isn't going to give you the best chance of moving forward, whatever, because you're already in conflict with yourself. Or it is that we're blaming life, that it's not fair, this always happens to me, this shouldn't be happening to me.
Victim.
Yeah, and that victim, either way, we're fighting life. And I think that it's really important to, first of all, start off by being really kind to yourself, because even if you feel that life's given you a hard time, why start off by then throwing in the first blows? If life's been kicking you down, then all the more reason to be your own side. I think that's really, really important to look at. Are you actually on your own side? Are you giving yourself the best opportunity? Do you care about yourself? Do you care enough about yourself to give yourself that chance?
Yeah, and care's a great word, actually. Don't hear that word care very often, but I know we've been, our last few hours that we've been speaking, we've used the word care a lot today. And somebody said to me recently, because you know I talk a lot about loving yourself and speaking the truth and so on, and I've been working with somebody, I don't like the word working, but you know, journeying with somebody, whatever you want to call it. And you know, she said to me, a lot of books talk about that it's important to love yourself, and and exercises and so on, but she just can't get it. She just can't get it, right? And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but it's like somebody either gets it or don't. Because I said, what my reply to her is that stop trying to get it. Stop trying to work out that some book or some teacher or somebody has the answer. When we know ourselves, if we trust ourselves, we know what it means to care for ourselves. We really do.
Yeah.
Because we can do it with our pets, or we can do it with our loved ones or our friends. We really care about them, don't we? We might phone them up, or our pet, we're like, make sure the pet's fed. Let me groom the pet, You see what I mean? Or the plants, right? Exactly, right? Yeah. So there's an innate knowing about care. Yeah. I know how to care for you. If you're sick, I'll be like, okay, Rash, right, what do I need to do? Let me,
maybe
whatever.
You might even care for your appearance, but you might not care for yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So go on. I don't know what comes.
But I mean, I like that. I think that's very true. I think that sometimes another way in, because sometimes I think for people they might still feel I can intellectually get it, but I can't care for myself. Maybe I'll ask this question: is that do you love life? Do you love this? Are you grateful for this? Again, we were touching on this before. Are you grateful for this thing of life? Do you appreciate it? Do you care about it? Hopefully you'll find some of them realising actually it is somebody I was speaking to who I know, her daughter just had a really difficult situation. It's one of those situations that makes you realise actually it's fickle, we do care. So find the thing that you do care about. I mean, pick up what you said, find about the thing that you do care about. It might be life itself, it might be somebody, it might be a particular person, it might not even be yourself, but sit with that particular thing so that you can expand from there to actually really appreciating this thing called life. Because if you appreciate that person, then you appreciate life, because if not, if it weren't for life, they wouldn't be here. From that, just find that place of appreciating, being grateful for life and for you still being here and you still having a chance. Because if you don't appreciate life, you're going to find it really difficult for any kind of fulfillment or happiness or joy or just being able to cope to happen. And you're not also giving life that chance otherwise to come and meet you, because you're saying you don't care for it.
Yeah.
You've got to.
Yes, it's interesting what you're pointing to, which is sometimes I don't actually point this way sometimes, but I actually like what you've just done there, just as another alternative, because there's no one way, is that I'm pointing to people to love themselves, because I find it, I'm like, how can you not love yourself? That's where I come from. Like, how can you not love the way your body functions, every cell in your body, the fact that you're a divine, unique, nobody like you in the whole planet. I sort of point to that. But what you're saying is in a way invite, especially the person that I was speaking to, invite them to look outside of themselves, which is something first. You're bringing them back to themselves, but you're saying, actually, okay, what do you care about? Do you care about life? Do you care about
do you care about animals?
Do you care about
you hate the humans because they're doing that, but do you love the animals?
Right. So what do you care about? That's the first. I love that. What do you care about? And then from that place, see how that connects them to themselves, right? Because for me, I've always said that how can you love another if you don't fully love yourself? But it sort of works simultaneously, because how can you love the planet if you don't love yourself? How can you love yourself if you don't love the planet? It's like when I fell in love more and more with myself, I naturally opened up to the love of everyone and the planet, and I was appreciative of gravity and oxygen and the ecosystems, and it's like, because I realised that everything is not, it's not about oneness, but everything is here, everything's happening for me to be here. That tree has to be alive, and so on. So I like what you pointed to there.
Well, that's an important point, because then whatever angle, whatever way you look at it, whether it is that you feel as though you don't really care about yourself, but you care about plants, or you care about this, or you care about another particular person, maybe you self-loathe, who cares whether you self-loathe or whatever, at that particular moment, there's something that you love, and therefore you can be thankful for life, put whatever word next to life you like, God, life, whatever, I don't care what you call it, that there's that love there, and there's that appreciation, and then the thing that you were just pointing to, there's an interconnection between everything. So the person that you care about isn't disconnected to some other friends or they know, or to this, that, everything is part of the same whole ecosystem, and therefore you'll be able to find a lovingness for the fact that you have been able to appreciate this person in your life. You don't have to look for very far to start seeing the connections between everything, and then you'll stop being in conflict with life or with the elements of life. You see all the contents of life, because they come hand in hand. You only need to watch one nature program, and the bees and this and the pollen of this and then the trees and then this and this. It's all interconnected, right? So then it takes you to a point whereby, rather than life being a foe, it's a friend. The planet, you were saying this before, the planet, everything about it. Because do you feel as though there's just you against the world, or do you believe that you are part of the world and the world is part of you? If you're walking through life and you feel as though it is an enemy, you're in trouble. Two people, or even yourself on any given day, I mean, if you're listening to this, try this out. Yourself on any given day, or even at 1 minute in a day, you're probably likely to feel really good, really buoyant, or really content, and so on. You're not even thinking about it subconsciously. And then another minute, but you're really doubtful, and so on. When you're buoyant, you don't feel as though you've got enemies in the world. You don't walk out expecting the problems and so on. And by and large, less conflict meets you from that space. By and large, less conflicts meet, and you have more smiles than you have snarls. Yeah. And that in itself, try it.
I think that's a really. I was going to say on that point that earlier, when we've sort of got to finish now, because I know we only have these little snippets. So there's a lot there for you all to listen to. I hope you're really enjoying this this little dynamic conversation. I always draw a lot from Rasheed's wisdom and the way that he looks at things and the way that we can both dissect and explore life together. And there was something about when you said about loving something outside of yourself. I had a vision of the people that work at hospitals. I know we can't go any much further on this, but I just wanted to point this out to people listening, is that a lot of people are really giving in hospitals, and they're serving. There's a lot of people in that humanitarian roles, but they're actually abusing themselves big time. Like they're obese, their bodies are bad, they work 14 to 16 hours a day and they dedicate themselves to it. Now, what I want to point out here is, from what Rasheed said, is that we're talking about how you can find your love and care in something that you really love and connect with, that fills you up with that embracing of life. Whereas what can happen in hospitals, I'm just using this as a very basic example, is that a resentment builds up, and these people are not really connecting with life. They're working there because they're getting paid and they are helping, but there's not a real genuine care. Does that make sense?
Yeah, or that, and I've been doing some work for people in hospitals and some staff, or that you're so caring for others and you haven't let that care in for yourself.
Exactly.
So do begin to let it. If it's shining, let it. Just for a moment. Yeah. Give yourself that same care that you give to somebody else. Yeah,
whether it was the pet, the plant, or the work, or whatever.
For a minute.
Because the real unconditional giving is the unconditional receiving, right? When we're really caring for another, then we are caring for ourselves, if it's authentic and unconditional.
And what can happen in that, very briefly, it's a bit like that when we talk about that film American Beauty. It might just be so overwhelming, it might just fill you up with so much compassion, you might be stunned by that the moment that you give yourself that. Because if you haven't let it in, when you do let that in, you may well be quite struck by how fulfilling and how enriching that moment as you embrace yourself. Because when you embrace yourself, or when you embrace life, you embrace both at the same time. So you'll be embracing yourself, you'll be embracing life, and life is going to hug you very warmly back. Yeah, amazing. Okay. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark, and that's normally my limit. So I'm going to say goodbye to you all. I hope you've loved this conversation. Love to Rick and Nikki, as always, for doing what you do, and for everybody listening. Hope you've enjoyed these Simon on the Sofa snippets that we bring to you. Rasheed, you can explore his website as well if you choose to on Razaru.com. Razaru.com, which is RASARU. ARU.com, Razaru.com. And just keep enjoying these wonderful conversations wherever you are in the world. Love yourself. Have a magical day.